The following outline is provided as an overview of and topical guide to humanism. Humanism, group of philosophies and ethical perspectives which emphasize the value and agency of human beings, individually and collectively, and generally prefers individual thought and evidence over established doctrine or faith. Two common forms of humanism are religious humanism and secular humanism. Humanism, term freely applied to a variety of beliefs, methods, and philosophies that place central emphasis on the human realm. Most frequently, however, the term is used with reference to a system of education and mode of inquiry that developed in northern Italy during the 13th and 14th centuries, and later spread through continental Europe and England, alternately known as Renaissance humanism. This program was so broadly and profoundly influential that it is one of the chief reasons why the Renaissance is viewed as a distinct historical period. Indeed, though the word Renaissance is of more recent coinage, the fundamental idea of that period as one of renewal and reawakening is humanistic in origin. But humanism sought its own philosophical basis in far earlier times, and, moreover, continued to exert some of its power long after the end of the Renaissance. Nature of humanism. Humanism can be described as all of the following: approach, manner in which a problem is solved, a policy is made; branch of philosophy, study of general and fundamental problems, such as those connected with reality, existence, knowledge, values, reason, mind, and language. Philosophy is distinguished from other ways of addressing such problems by its critical, generally systematic approach and its reliance on rational argument. Social movement, type of group action, a large informal grouping of individuals or organization which focuses on specific political or social issues. In other words, it carries out, resists or undoes a social change. Ethical movement, philosophical movement, either the appearance or increased popularity of a specific school of philosophy, or a fairly broad but identifiable sea change in philosophical thought on a particular subject. Branches of humanism. Religious humanism, philosophy that integrates secular ethics with religious rituals and beliefs that center on human needs, interests, and abilities. Buddhist humanism, philosophical perspective based on the teaching of inherent dignity of all human beings, the potential for attaining highest wisdom about the condition and their essential nature of altruism exemplified by the bodhisattva spirit of compassion. In practical terms, humanism is expressed on the individual level through action, to relieve sufferings and impart joy, to contribute to the welfare of society, abiding by the attitude of nonviolence, supporting human rights, and acting for world peace, effectively advocating the concept of global citizenship. Christian humanism emphasizes the humanity of Jesus, his social teachings and his propensity to synthesize human spirituality and materialism. It regards humanist principles like universal human dignity and individual freedom and the primacy of human happiness as essential and principal components of, or at least compatible with, the teachings of Jesus Christ. Christian existential humanism, theo-philosophical movement which takes an existentialist approach to Christian theology. Humanistic Judaism, movement in Judaism that offers a non-theistic alternative in contemporary Jewish life. It defines Judaism as the cultural and historical experience of the Jewish people and encourages humanistic and secular Jews to celebrate their Jewish identity by participating in Jewish holidays and life cycle events with inspirational ceremonies that draw upon but go beyond traditional literature. Secular humanism, philosophy philosophy a life stance that embraces human reason, ethics, social justice and philosophical naturalism, whilst specifically rejecting religious dogma, supernaturalism, pseudoscience, a superstition as the basis of morality and decision-making, alternatively known by some adherents as humanism, specifically with a capital H to distinguish it from other forms of humanism, personism, ethical philosophy of personhood as typified by the thought of the preference utilitarian philosopher Peter Singer. It amounts to a branch of secular humanism with an emphasis on certain rights criteria. Posthumanism, after humanism, or beyond humanism. It has at least 5 contexts, and may refer to ideas concerning the post-human condition, cultural posthumanism, philosophical posthumanism, transhumanism, anti-humanism, the view that concepts of human nature, man, or humanity, should be rejected as historically relative or metaphysical, Renaissance humanism, transhumanism, international intellectual and cultural movement that affirms the possibility and desirability of fundamentally transforming the human condition by developing and making widely available technologies to eliminate aging and greatly enhance human intellectual, physical, and psychological capacities. That is, striving to become post-human. According to transhumanist thinkers, a post-human is a hypothetical future being whose basic capacities so radically exceed those of present humans as to be no longer unambiguously human by our current standards. Humanist positions. Religious humanist positions. Supports. Rejects secular humanist positions. Supports logic. Scientific skepticism, scientific method, rationalism, empiricism, humanitarianism, human rights, naturalism, secularism, rejects revelation, mysticism, divinity, tradition, authoritarianism, extreme skepticism, faith, manifestos and statements setting out humanist viewpoints. Humanist Manifesto, Amsterdam Declaration 2002. A Secular Humanist Declaration, History of Humanism, Main Article, History of Humanism, Greek Roots, Democracy, Free Thinking, Greek Philosophy, Renaissance Humanism, 1853, Humanistic Religious Association formed in London, 1900 to the 1930s, New Humanism developed by the American scholar Irving Babbitt and the scholar and journalist Paul Elmer More. It was an influential strand of conservative thought up to the 1930s. 1929 First Humanist Society of New York. 1930 Humanism, A New Religion published. 1933 Humanist Manifesto published. 1941 American Humanist Association founded. By region Humanism in Germany, Humanism in France. Humanist beliefs. Religious humanist beliefs, secular humanist beliefs, agnosticism, atheism, evolution, humanist ethics, humanist virtues and values, common good, compassion, creativity, empiricism, experience, experimentation, free thought, human dignity, humanitarianism, human rights, imagination, justice, knowledge, nature, observation, personal liberty, rationality, reason, scientific method, social responsibility, humanist culture, ceremonies and service, celebrancy, movement to provide agents to officiate at ceremonies often reserved in law to clergy or officers of the courts. These agents, generally referred to as celebrants, perform weddings, funerals, and other life ceremonies for those who do not want a traditional religious ceremony. Humanist officiant, person who performs secular humanist celebrancy services for weddings, funerals, child namings, coming-of-age ceremonies, and other rituals. Humanist baby naming. Some humanists perform a naming ceremony as a non-religious alternative to ceremonies such as christening. The principle is conceptually similar to a civil wedding ceremony as an alternative to a religious wedding ceremony. Symbols: happy human icon and the official symbol of the International Humanist and Ethical Union, a world body of humanist organizations, and has been adopted by many humanist organizations and individuals worldwide. General concepts pertaining to and embraced by humanism. Other humanist terms include ecosphere, ethical, ethics, evolutionary humanism, life stance, non-theistic, rationalism, scientific skepticism, secular, organizations, American Humanist Association, British Humanist Association, Council for Secular Humanism, Human-Etisk Forbund, the Norwegian Humanist Association, Humanist Association of Canada, Humanist Association of Ireland, Humanist International, Humanist Movement, Humanist Party, Humanist Society of Scotland, Institute for Humanist Studies, International Humanist and Ethical Union, National Secular Society, Rationalist International, Sidment, Icelandic Ethical Humanist Association. For more organizations see category: Humanist associations. Humanists. Leaders in humanism: people who have made a major impact on the development or advancement of humanism. Charles Francis Potter, Julian Huxley, John Dewey, Albert Einstein, Thomas Mann, F.C.S. Schiller, Raymond B. Bragg, Roy Wood Sellers, Isaac Asimov, Kurt Vonnegut. Other notable humanists: Philip Adams, Steve Allen, Sir Arthur C. Clarke, Richard Dawkins, Gareth Evans, Richard Feynman, Tim Flannery, E. M. Forster, William Hayden, Thomas Jefferson, Paul Gertz, Philip Nitschke, Philip Pullman, Gene Roddenberry, Bertrand Russell, Carl Sagan, John Ralston Saul, Michael Shermer, Peter Singer, Barbara Smoker, Ibn Warwick, Robin Williams, E.O. Wilson. Related philosophies: empiricism, extropianism, free thought, infinitism, objectivism, philosophical naturalism, pragmatism, rationalism, rationalist movement, secularism,